So today, meditating as I do on, what we'd like to talk about today. Those of you who are early will benefit from, I think, some of the broad, expansive lessons we want to take home from the Govardhan Leela. Because there are many, many things. Can I put it down a little bit? Not my face. So there are many, many things that we can learn about ourselves, about Krishna, and about the illusory energy when we study the Govardhan Puja Leela. And that may be true of many, many Leelas, but I think it's especially in the case of Lord Brahma and Lord Indra, when they do something they shouldn't do. Like when Brahma stole the cowherd boys and the cows, and then Krishna manifested himself like that. And then Brahma came back very repentant and offered beautiful prayers like that. And Indra also, when he acted in a way that demonstrated an ignorance of the ultimate reality. So we're going to try to use those examples in our own lives in order to find a way to live moment to moment, day to day, in the manner in which Krishna actually requests us in the Bhagavad Gita to live. And we're going to study a little bit of the Bhagavad Gita in that regard. So this will be a very interesting talk, because it's going to engage not only in Govardhan Leela, which is, of course, our reason for celebrating today, but also to take home some of the lessons that we can garnish from the of Krishna Katha. So we'll start off with a little kirtan today. This morning, by the way, I was on one website. We have a website for Prabhupada's disciples. There's a little over 800 disciples who are part of that. About 400 or so disciples of Prabhupada have already passed on. And there were a total of about 5,000 disciples, so we don't know where everyone is. But on that website, I saw a picture of Vaisheshika walking with a few other bhaktas on the Parikram path of Govardhan Hill. So I felt like I was there also, just by seeing the picture. And the first time you actually see Govardhan Hill, you don't know what to expect. But it's a very long hill, 13 miles or 24 miles, however you describe the circumference around it, the perimeter. So we'll start with a little kirtan. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namane Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nivishesha Shunyabari Paschatya Deshatarine Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nivishesha Sunyavari Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta-vrinda Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta-vrinda Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta-vrinda Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta-vrinda Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta-vrinda Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta-vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Om Vishnu Par Paramangsa Paribrajikachaya Saraswata Shivara Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Jai Om Vishnu Par Paramangsa Paribrajikachaya Saraswata Shimad Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Ki. Srila Rupanuga Guru Varga Ki. His Grace Vaisheshika Das Adhikar Ki. Tulsi Maharani Ki. Govardhan Puja celebration Ki. Harinam Sankirtan Ki. Transcendental books of Srila Prabhupada Ki. All the devotees in this beloved, beautiful yatra Ki. Go to Premanandi Hari Hari Bo. Hare Krishna. So, I'm going to try my best to convey what I hope will be a very memorable lecture for you. So that, and when I say lecture for you, is also for me, because I'm also hearing. We are not doing anything in this material world. It is all executed by Krishna's divine arrangement, his control. So the first thing, when we try to understand the Leela of Krishna, then we first of all want to establish in our consciousness the very nature of Krishna's activities. Because, and this is one of the important verses of the Bhagavad Gita, Janma karma chame devam evam jo veti tatvataha tyaktva deham punar janma naiti mameti so Arjuna. Now, this is an important verse. Krishna says that janma, my appearance or birth, and karma, which means activities or lila. Who understands in truth the nature of Krishna's appearance and the nature of Krishna's activities, his lila, his karma, his appearance, very, very uncommon to understand. It is not an intellectual understanding. It is not something that you can put into a folder and close the drawer on and say, oh yeah, I understand that. Yeah, now let me go on with my life. No, this is deep understanding, realization, vijnana. Not only jnana, but vijnana. Who understands this, giving up this body will never take birth again. And Krishna promises, this is Krishna's promise, he will come to me. So we have the opportunity, just by learning about Krishna from our divine preceptor, Srila Prabhupada, who is giving us all of this information through the Guru Parampara, to understand these things. So it's not beyond us to grasp that. Bhaktya mam abhijananti yavanyashtatmi tattvataha. There are other aspects or other activities described in the first canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, especially in some of the purports, where Srila Prabhupada describes that karma kanda and jnana kanda, these are aspects of material life. Karma kanda means fruitive activities. It means sense enjoyment. So if we approach religiosity or spiritual life, but we are attached to enjoying the material senses, which means ignorance on many planes. It means ignorance about who we are, mistaking ourselves to be the body and the mind, and also what is the world, mistaking that this is for me to exploit, rather than Ishyavasyamidam sarvam. This is all Krishna's energy and Krishna's property. So the deep understanding of bhakti should not be mixed with karma kanda and also jnana kanda. Jnana means knowledge acquisition, and it can be acquired. We sometimes talk about the ascending process, trying to go up a ladder to get to a higher plane. You know, like, if someone were thinking of kundalini, raising the kundalini up, to the higher plane or something like that. That is ascending process. But that process is also condemned. And it is condemned because it does not give you the result you're looking for. What you want is the result. And the result is that you awaken your love for Krishna, that you establish what I am, as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, that we should think ourselves to be the servant of the servant of the servant of the Lord of the Gopis, like this. And this is the eternal, Jive Swarupoi Nitya Krishna Das, eternal servants of Krishna. That is the highest plane or platform that the Jiva soul can ever come to. Not that, like Jnanakanda, you can merge into Brahman, and then you become one with God, and then you're thinking, oh, I'm God. But you're not God, you see. This is a form of material ignorance. In fact, mayaya paritagyana, Krishna says that kind of ignorance, that kind of attachment, you will never be able to surrender to Krishna with. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he's talking with the Mayavadis, I believe in Benares, is it not? And he said to them that if you dedicate yourself to understanding Sarirak Bhashya, the commentary of Vedanta Sutra by Shankaracharya, your spiritual life is finished. You see? So, where you get your information from, how you acquire it, where you put your antennae, where you receive oral reception from is so vitally important. And this hearing of Srimad Bhagavatam, because Govardhan Lila is part of Srimad Bhagavatam, is it not? It is the 10th canto, it is the smiling face of Sri Krishna. First canto, starting at the lotus feet of Krishna, working your way up to the smiling, beautiful, charming, blissful face of Krishna. And to hear about Krishna by itself, Krishna Katha, Nama, Harinama, the holy name, that is sufficient in and of itself to go back to Godhead. And not only that, but just by the hearing process, the knot within your heart, Vidyante Hridaya Granti. That is such a nice expression, Hridaya Granti. It means the knot within the heart. Because this knot within the heart is what keeps us established away from Krishna consciousness and in the material world, transmigrating. Well, this is something I've been thinking about lately, and I want to express, and you can criticize, it's okay. But the Jiva soul, we say, oh, the Jiva soul is a conditioned soul. But where is the conditioning coming from? You see? Can you blame it on the material energy? Oh, it is because of contact with the material energy, therefore I am contaminated. No. You see? It is something far more profound and far more a disease of the soul. Okay? Because the soul has desire. That is where it arises from. So now, get this picture of the Mahatattva, the material world that we live in. And we know that the material energy is nothing but Krishna's energies. It is his apara prakriti, his lower energy. And the jiva souls have really nothing to do with this material energy. They are para prakriti. We'll discuss that a little bit in a few minutes. The jiva souls are of a different nature altogether. They are of the conscious nature of Krishna. They are part and parcel of Krishna. So now this material world is coming and going. It is being created and it is being destroyed over and over again. Over a very long period of time. Very long period of time. But it is being destroyed. But what happens to those souls? Us, the jiva souls. When the material world is no longer manifest, when we are no longer covered by the pradhana, the jiva souls remain parked somewhere. They could be parked, there's some debate where they're parked. They could be parked inside Vishnu, Mahavishnu, or they could be parked inside the Brahma Jyoti, as described in the Brahma Samhita. But they're parked. They don't go back to Godhead. So that gives you some indication that the spirit soul itself has the disease of conditioning, which is the disease of misdirected desire, that I want to become the Lord. I want to become the center. I want to be the enjoyer. I want to be the controller. All of the things that God is, we want to be. That is called envy of God. You see? And this is our disease. This is our disease. So one of the things that I want to tie in with the description of the Govardhan Leela is this idea of how the pure souls, and particularly here the Brajvasis, how they are free from that envy completely. How they have absolutely no misgivings toward Krishna. In the Bhagavad Gita, I think it's 5:17 if I'm not mistaken, there's a place where Krishna says, one who is free from all misgivings. Okay? And misgivings means, ultimately, that we are thinking we are controllers. We can't accept that there's an enjoyer higher than us. We want to be the center, we want to be the controller. That is the envious position. So how to become free from misgivings? Simply by hearing. Okay? This is the statement, Vidyante Hridaya Granti. Simply by hearing Krishna Katha in our line, we can become free from the misgivings. Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita, and I see my friend Akuranath here because we talk a little bit from time to time about the Bhagavad Gita. He really loves the Bhagavad Gita. And I know some of you also love the Bhagavad Gita. I am a lover of the Bhagavad Gita. I really am. And, maybe I've studied it 45 times, but each time something new is coming. It's like Krishna is just opening our consciousness to reality as it is. It's a wonderful, wonderful thing. What is Arjuna's qualification that he can hear Bhagavad Gita? Not only he can hear Bhagavad Gita, but he understands Bhagavad Gita immediately. There's not a delay, like, I hear something from Krishna or I hear something from Gurudev, and I think, let me contemplate that for a while. It's not like that at all. You see? Arjuna is anusuyata. Anusuyata means the state of being free from envy. You see? And Krishna, time and again, he'll say to Arjuna, because you are my very dear friend, because you are free from envy, therefore I shall teach you this. You see? So the dialogue between two people, between Arjuna and Krishna, is taking place in the Bhagavad Gita. You may think that it's a dialogue with the whole universe and everything, but it's not. We are simply able to listen in on it and partake of it. But the real dialogue is between Arjuna and Krishna. So, for example, those shlokas in the Bhagavad Gita in the 10th chapter, Machchita Madgata Prana, like this, Tesham Satata Yuktana, Tesham Evantu Kampartam Aham Magyana Jamtamaha Nashayami Atma Bhavaso Gyana Deepena Baswata. Well, Krishna is saying to Arjuna that special dispensation I'm giving to the devotees. Yes, all are part and parcel of me. You're all my children, you could say. But those who are free from envy, who are my devotees, they get special dispensation. What is that dispensation? That aham agyana jamtamaha, the ignorance born of contact with darkness, with the tamaguna. Nashiyami. This is first person Sanskrit. Aham nashiyami. It's not like it is destroyed in some mechanical way by intellectual understanding. No, it's that Krishna intercedes in your life, and he immediately, nashiyami, he destroys that ignorance, and jnana dipena baswata. This is very, very important. Krishna enlightens you from within. He enlightens you from within. Sometimes, we have seen, so many people, they have gotten, Prabhupada's books, or they have gotten to meet Srila Prabhupada or a good devotee, but they don't become Vaishnavas. Maybe some lifetime they might become Vaishnavas. But what is the distinction? What happens is that those who receive special consideration from Krishna, they become enlightened. As much as Krishna will allow them to be enlightened, he enlightens them. And then, right after that shloka, what is Arjuna's reaction? Param Brahma, Param Dhamma, Pavitram Paramam. Immediately, Arjuna has realization. Now I understand. Krishna has enlightened him from within. You are Param Brahma. You are everything. You are the Supreme Spirit. You are the all in all. You are the supreme abode, the destination. You are Shashvatam, original, eternal, and a person. Purusham Shashvatam Divya, Adi Deva Majam Vibhum. So this is the process of hearing from Krishna. You see? That hearing from Krishna alone, hearing through our parampara about Krishna, that can immediately cut the knot within your heart. Okay? So this is how the Srimad Bhagavatam is so vitally important. So we don't want to mistake the stories of Krishna killing the demons, or Krishna lifting Govardhan Hill as being like a child story. You see, it could be taken like that. Avajananti Mamura. If you think Krishna is an ordinary person, Krishna says you are mudha, foolish, you see. But Krishna himself says that. We have to understand. I remember walking with Srila Prabhupada on the roof of the first Mayapur building. And he's walking and he's contemplating. He said, don't think that Vyasadeva is telling us some childhood stories. And he mentioned like Bakasura, the big duck demon, whose beak is way up in the sky. He said, don't think that the compiler of the Vedanta Sutra is telling us now some childhood stories, you see. He's not doing that, you see. So we have to understand the source of that information, because what we know is very limited through our senses and probably wrong. But by hearing, we can understand what is present. Just like in the Bhagavad Gita, and then we'll get on to the story of Govardhan Puja a little bit so we can understand this. If you look at the world before you through your eyes, which unfortunately are tinged by karma kanda and jnana kanda, by the desire for sense enjoyment and mental speculation, then we won't see the world as it is. We'll see so many temporary forms, you see. But Krishna is teaching you that Bhumerapo nalo vayu kammana buddha evacha hankar. What this world is made up of is many of Krishna's different energies. And when you're actually seeing things as they are, then you will see the conscious soul present in every living being. Then you're seeing things as they are. So this is seeing through Shastra, rather than seeing through our eyes, which are limited. We can't even see our eyelid, you see. So now in Krishna Lila, the Govardhan Puja takes place when Krishna is a small boy. He's about 6 or 7, and the devotees of Krishna, when they are mature in their devotion, and of course all of the devotees in Vrindavan Leela are mature, but the devotees in Krishna consciousness, they become free from these misgivings that we mentioned. So misgivings mean that I can't accept Krishna as the supreme controller. Misgivings, when we are free from them, means I surrender to Krishna, I accept Krishna as the supreme controller. In fact, in the Brahmabhuta stage of realization, which Krishna describes for Arjuna very nicely in the 13th and 14th chapter, then Krishna is asked by Arjuna, what is that person like who is Brahmabhuta realized? And then Krishna explains, honor and dishonor are the same. When illumination comes, they are not attached. And when illumination goes, they are not attached. All of the different contrary qualities that we can conceive of in this material world are taking place by Krishna's control. By Krishna's control. You understand? We have nothing to do with it. You see? We are merely observers from the pure intellectual, spiritual standpoint. But yet there is a higher plane. And that higher plane is devotional service. So if you took that, the Jiva soul has become liberated, Brahmabhuta liberated, that's not the end point. That is the beginning point of transcendental loving service. Brahmabhuta, Prasanatma, no sochate, no kankshate, no desires, and no lamentation. Just like the Brahmabhuta personality described by Krishna in the 14th chapter. Samasarveshu bhuteshu, all living beings seen equally as jiva soul. You see, we are not human beings. We are souls. We are jiva souls, just transmigrating through this human form. And then mad bhaktim labate param. Then bhakti can be obtained. There is potential for bhakti, you see? So the men of that day wanted to make a sacrifice to Lord Indra. And they cooked so many foodstuffs and were preparing a very nice sacrifice. And along comes Krishna, who says, "What are you doing? Why don't you offer this to Govardhan Hill? Don't offer this to Lord Indra." And they say, "But Indra's in charge of the rains, and we need the rains in order to, have nice green grasses for the cows to eat. And we are, after all, we are cowherds people. We're dependent for grains and dependent on the grasses for feeding our cows to the god of rain." He said, "No, we can do this sacrifice to Govardhan Puja another time." And then Krishna uses so many arguments. Why does he use these arguments? Because he is charming. Krishna is very, very charming. And when you read the Leela of Krishna, you have to be charmed by him. You have to be charmed by Rasa Leela, how Krishna is dancing. The gopis want to dance with him, and so he expands himself in his Prakash form. Hare Krishna. He expands himself in his Prakash form. Each gopi is thinking, "I am dancing with Krishna alone." What a wonderful thing that is. The cowherd boys, when they want to play with Krishna, Krishna expands himself as so many forms so that each cowherd boy is feeling, I am playing with Krishna, I am massaging Krishna, I am playing leapfrog with Krishna, whatever I am doing, fanning Krishna alone. This is Krishna's generous, charming nature. So here Krishna is trying to get the cowherd men to do a sacrifice to Govardhan Hill. And he uses so many arguments. He uses logic that is astounding for a Vaishnava. But whatever the case is, the cowherd men, they say, "Okay." They're listening to Krishna, 6-year-old boy. "Okay, whatever you say, we'll do." Because they are charmed by Krishna. They're in love with Krishna. You see? So when the sacrifice is about to take place, because who does Krishna consider himself to be? Krishna describes, even in the Bhagavad Gita, he describes himself as Vasudeva Sarvamiti. He doesn't say that he is Vasudeva, a form of Vishnu. He describes himself as Vasudeva, the son of Vasudeva. Krishna describes himself as what he is in his Leela. Because this is who Krishna is. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he describes in his Shishtastak prayers, who is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu worshipping? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu were saying, he's appearing with the heart and halo of Srimati Radharani. But he is worshipping Nanda Tanuja, the son of Nanda Maharaj. You see? He is not worshipping the creator of the universe. You see? Even though he is the creator of the universe, there is no doubt. Janmadhyashyataha. But he is worshipping the son of Nanda. You see? So this is Krishna's identity. And this is how Krishna feels about himself. He is a person. He has his own identity. He has his own desire to be what he will be. And what does he want to be? at the highest plane, he wants to be a family member within Vrindavan. Not only that, he doesn't even want to be a Brahmin. He wants to be a Vaishya. He's Govinda. He's a caregiver to the cows. This is his identity. So when he tells the cowherd men that you please make this sacrifice right away, there's no time to wait. Then the cowherd men, they say, okay, this is Yogamaya. Because of their charm and love for Krishna, they are taken over. And when they make the sacrifice, then Krishna manifests Govardhan Hill as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, accepting the offerings, you see. In fact, I saw one picture on the internet this morning that when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu goes to Vrindavan, and he goes to Govardhan Hill, Hare Krishna, then he hugs a rock from Govardhan Hill, you see. And all of the Goswamis, and so many other great souls up through today, they are worshiping Govardhan Hill by doing parikram around, you see. And even today, the Brajbasis, those who live in Vrindavan, the devotees, and you can argue, oh, they may not be great devotees, they may be this, they're great devotees. They are really Brajbasis. Who do they worship as God? Govardhan Hill. You see? And Nanda Babu, he's one of our cowherd men. And Krishna is the son of Nanda Maharaj. This is their feeling. You see? This is the feeling that they have about Krishna. Now let's talk about misgivings a little bit. Now let's think in a mundane way, because I want to make an emphasis for all of us. I want to give some lessons that we can take home from this. Because Indra, did he have misgivings about all of this? Oh yeah. He had revenge, and he was angry, and he wanted to destroy, even kill, the inhabitants of Vrindavan who didn't honor him, who didn't give him the offerings that were originally intended for him, you see? Again, misgivings. But did the inhabitants of Vrindavan, the devotees of Krishna, did they have any misgivings? A misgiving is like this, like, you know, someone gives you some advice, and, you know, maybe even begrudgingly you take the advice, but things turn out very bad from that advice. And then you say to that person, boy, thanks a lot. Yeah, I mean, you gave me this advice, and just see what happened. You know what I'm saying? You have that experience. I have that. We all have that experience. But the Brajvasis, in relationship with Krishna, they don't have that experience. They don't feel like, oh, Krishna led us wrong here. Look at all the rain coming down. Indra's sending down through the Shamantaka clouds and pouring so much rain upon us. Everything is being flooded. But they're not angry with Krishna. Oh, Krishna, you gave us some bad advice. I think we should think this over a little bit. Maybe we shouldn't have done that. Doesn't happen. Because they have no misgivings toward Krishna. They have no envy toward Krishna. They completely accept Krishna. Even Krishna is not manifesting as the Supreme Personality of Godhead in Vrindavan, because Yogamaya has covered Jnana Shunya Bhakti. He has covered the existential reality of the greatness of God, the majesty of God. He has covered that by his own potency, his Yogamaya, not Mahamaya. Mahamaya is in this world. Yogamaya is in the spiritual world. He's covered it over, and all they're thinking is their loving relationship and exchange of rasa with Krishna. You see? So, because they have no misgivings, and because Krishna is their only protector, one of the signs of surrender, Krishna is your protector. then they go to Krishna. Now Krishna is only 6 years old, 7 years old, like that little boy appearing. But they see Krishna as their only protector. Everyone huddles around Krishna and says, "Oh, Krishna, please protect us from these rains and thunder and winds. It's terrible. None of us feel protected. We're all going to die if we don't have your shelter." And so Krishna says, "Come underneath this parasol, this umbrella I'm going to make." And with the small left finger, he lifts up Govardhan Hill. Now, you could say, this is very amazing. Actually, it is. But Krishna is keeping all of the planets in orbit. He's creating everything. So when Krishna does amazing things for us, it is only to emphasize his charm, his sweetness, and his love for his devotees. So he protects his devotees. That's their only shelter. You take Draupadi. Draupadi is going to be disgraced in the dice hall where the Pandavas lost everything by Shakuni's machinations. And then they even lose Draupadi. Okay, double or nothing. Your wife or everything else. So they said, okay. So they gambled away Draupadi. 5 Pandavas are her husband. Bhima, Arjuna, Nakula, Sahadeva, and Yudhishthira. And they stood by passively while she was being disrobed. One hand on her sari to protect herself, and one hand to Krishna. "Oh, Krishna, please save me. You're my only protector." Still, Krishna not coming. 2 hands to Krishna, letting go completely. Then Krishna incarnated as sari. So we understand something of Krishna's personality. Krishna is charming. Krishna is very dramatic. Sometimes he's described like an actor on a stage. What kind of actor? He's so charming. You say, just in the nick of time he came. That's Krishna. That's Krishna. And he has that relationship with each and every one of us. With each and every one of us. We have the opportunity in this lifetime to test him if you want. But really, when we look at our lives, we have to see whether we are meeting the test that he has given to us. Because he is Chaita Guru, everything managed by him to rehabilitate the eternally conditioned souls, the Nityabhara, so that they can go home back to Godhead. How he is doing that. Obviously, he is doing it through samsara. He is giving you a birth, and then he is taking everything away. Time after time after time after time after time. Stealing away your health, stealing away your youth, frustrating you from this illusion that you are in control and that you are here going to remain like Hiranyakashipu forever. You see? This is Krishna's unbelievable intelligence. How he is rehabilitating the jiva souls to make them fit to go back to Godhead. You see? So this this idea of Krishna being dramatic like that, it is one way of saying that when you come to the end of your rope and you finally realize that I am indeed helpless. I am indeed helpless. Like the inhabitants of Vrindavan, when the rains are there by Lord Indra, like Draupadi, and like so many other examples that we can hear about and learn about the Mahajans. What is their exemplary devotion? What is the exemplary example that they have left us to follow? So in this lifetime, we have to become free from misgivings. Because Srila Prabhupada, Vaisheshika, all of the devotees, they feel that you can't wait. Isn't it? You have no time to wait. Human life is short. I mean, us old guys, we know how short it is. But you young people, you think, oh, I'm going to be young forever. Blink your eyes, and if you're so fortunate, you'll be 70 years old. I kid you not. I kid you not. It is like blinking your eyes and you're there. It really is taking place like that. You cannot stop time. Kalosmi lokakshayakrit. Krishna is time. You cannot stop time. You can't put it on hold. You know, like you're watching a movie or something. You can't put that, one of those two lines there. You can't pause it. You see, it just keeps on going, keeps on going, keeps on going. So the cultivation of dependency on Krishna is the height of intelligence. You see, when you see people who go around and think, well, I'm very independent. I have wealth, I have opulence, I have this, I have that. I am very independent. And you'll see, like in the material world, people will praise those people, is it not? They're the ones you want to be like. Oh, I wish I were like this one. Oh, I wish I were like that one. Whether it's an athlete or a movie star or Bill Gates or anyone, you know what I'm saying? We are modeling ourselves after illusioned and faulty people. The song goes something like, we are Kripana Dorajana. We are serving miserly, bad people. Dorajana, bad people. And Kripana, who are these people? They are misers. Because they can't accept that I have nothing. That it's all Krishna's. Even my body, it is Krishna's property. So that Brahmabhuta stage of realization in Krishna consciousness is not that difficult to attain. But bhakti, that is difficult to obtain. Bhakti is the treasure of existence. You see? Bhukti mukti siddhi kami sakaleya shanta. I don't know the rest of that verse. But, huh? Yes. I was looking for that in my books. I couldn't find it today. The bhukti is easy for us. We can understand that when Srila Prabhupada or devotees encouraging each other say, don't lord over material nature. Don't try to enjoy your senses independently. It's an illusion. You're not even the body. You're not these material senses. Why you're putting energy into a dream-like existence. And Jnanakanda, bhukti mukti. Mukti is desire for liberation. And that desire for liberation even can go to the stage of Brahmabhuta. Brahmabhuta means that transcendental to the three modes of material nature. Krishna wants you to be transcendental to his three modes of material nature. He says it so many times over. You know, you've heard the expression, it's all good. You've heard that expression? It's not all good. Not even Krishna thinks it's all good. It may be all good for him, but it's not all good for your devotees. In the 15th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, and Kuranath and I were just chatting about this briefly one day, some weeks ago, when Krishna is describing the inverted banyan tree. The inverted banyan tree is like a reflection of reality. It's not reality. If you see a reflection, it's just a shadow. And in that inverted tree, there are the Vedic hymns even. Why the Vedic hymns? Because most of the Vedic hymns are designed for karma kanda. They're designed for material sense enjoyment. You see? It may be a gradual process of reform. So like you want to have a good wife, you do this. You want to have a good husband, you do this. You want to have money, you do this. You want to have health, you do this. Many different ways within the Vedas, authorized ways, that you can approach authority as it is designed by Vyasadeva, so that you don't become a godless, atheistic demon. Because when Krishna describes the demoniac nature, the asuric nature in the Bhagavad Gita, he describes like that. People are proud. They think, oh, I have so much wealth. I can give some charity. Oh, I am independent, This is the demoniac nature. At least in the Vedic tradition, Vyasadeva didn't reject those people. He understood, there's a process for people in the mode of ignorance. There's a process for the mode of passion. There's a process for those who are established in goodness, you see. But most of the Vedas are designed for fruitive activity, you see. And then what does Krishna say you do with this tree? Cut it off. Cut it down. Okay? Cut it down. Don't even bother getting nourishment from it or giving nourishment to it. You cut it down. This is Krishna describing his own energy. It's not all good. It's not all good. So when we see the expression of Krishna describing the Brahmabhuta, that you shouldn't chase, like you say, oh, I have to resolve this first, then I can become Krishna conscious. Oh, I have to resolve that, no, then I can become Krishna. You don't resolve anything. You cannot fight illusion with illusion. You cannot fight Maya with Maya. There's only one way to become free from Maya, and that is to take full shelter, to surrender to Krishna. Then Krishna will take charge. You have heard the expression, to surrender to Krishna. Surrendering to Krishna is not a process that you do over and over and over and over and over again. Oh, I have to surrender to Krishna. Oh, I have to surrender to... Surrendering to Krishna is a one-time deal. Because if an elephant never forgets, believe me, Krishna doesn't forget. When you approach Krishna with your heart, and you pray to him, and I'll just tell you how I pray to him, but you have your own prayer. Everyone has their own relationship with Krishna. And you pray to Krishna, my dear Lord, I don't know what is good for me. You know what is good for me. And I am nothing. I'm trying to make something of this illusory existence. You please take me over. Take care of me. Provide me the direction that I can come to love you. And Krishna will hear your prayer, and that's it. That's surrender. Now you're in the schooling phase, okay? Not everyone will accept this, but I have established in my talks with very high Vaishnavas this. Now everything is in the schooling phase. Now Krishna has accepted you as a surrendered soul. Now he's going to reform you. You see? So now, everything that is taking place in this material world, it is being done by Krishna. Krishna is the puppeteer. He's the producer and the director of this entire material world. You see? This is how you become free from misgivings. You accept it. You surrender to Krishna. You accept that he is the supreme controller, the Parameshwara, and that I am his eternal servant. then Krishna will put you through a bunch of examinations, a bunch of tests. And you have to accept those tests rather than feeling misgivings. Do you understand? Don't feel misgivings toward who? Toward Krishna. Accept his control. Accept his benevolence. Really, without his benevolence, we have nothing. You can't say, oh, Krishna, you should have done this or that. No, Krishna knows what he's doing. He's the supreme director. He knows what you need. Because his goal is not for you to establish yourself in this world, but to come back to Godhead, where you can eternally be a part of his family. You see? So the cowherd men, they immediately accepted Krishna's proposal. You see? Yes, we shall make offering like this. A little reluctantly, because there's some charm in the whole play. And then they go to Krishna, and he is holding up the hill. And I think even the children know the story of Govardhan Hill, isn't it? Krishna, for 7 days and 7 nights, he held up the hill with his little finger. And the rains were coming, and the winds were coming, and flooding was taking place. And all of the Brajvasis, all the inhabitants of Vrindavan, and the cows, and the creatures, the animals, they all took shelter under the umbrella that Krishna had made of Govardhan Hill. And they were amazed. They were absolutely amazed. You know? Because they're not thinking that Krishna is God. They're thinking, Krishna is our friend. Krishna is our lover. Krishna is my child. After all, Nanda, Yashoda. They're thinking like this. This is who Krishna is in Vrindavan. You see? And they're astonished so much so that they want to help Krishna. The little boy might become tired or fatigued. So you see the pictures sometimes of the cowherd men, the cowherd boys, they're using their staffs to help hold up the hill. It's very charming Leela. And for 7 days and 7 nights, they had no thirst. They had no hunger. We've heard that if you go 7 days without water, you're dead. They weren't dead. And they had no tendency to sleep even. Just amazed, looking at the beautiful form of Sri Krishna holding up Govardhan Hill. You see. Then the rain subsided, and Indra, who had had misgivings, obviously, even though he's a demigod, he had misgivings. He was angry. Why, I am not getting my sacrifice. He wanted revenge. And then he came to his senses. And Krishna put the hill back down and told the inhabitants to go home to their places. And Indra came, and repentantly he said his prayers. Just like Lord Brahma, when he realized that stealing the cowherds, boys, and the cows, that what he had done was extremely foolish, that he offered his prayers to Krishna, that I have done wrong. So misgivings are there. But for the devotee, Krishna wants that you should have no misgivings. This is part of the rehabilitation of the jiva soul. Can you understand? Like being in a hospital. We're in Krishna's hospital. And Krishna is taking care of us, like the physician. He's giving us the medicine, Aushadhi. He's giving us the holy name. He's giving us the association of his representatives, of his pure devotees. When you read the purports, like in that 15th chapter, Srila Prabhupada, he's not describing like, this is my information. He's saying, here's what Krishna says. You see? He's not making something up for himself. You know, he's not interested in the sociology of the thing, but the reality of Krishna consciousness. And, you know, people will have misgivings in their dealings with devotees also. Why? Because it's the Kali Yuga, for one thing. And secondly, because we're not perfect. And we're not these bodies. And we're not in control. So what is actually taking place? Krishna is arranging all of these circumstances to reform and rehabilitate the jiva souls. Because Krishna knows who we are and what we are. And he knows what the material energy is. And his desire is to reform the souls. That's what he's doing. You understand? So in this way, the Govardhan Leela is an opportunity not only to hear the wonderful history, as Srila Prabhupada would say, this is not a child's story. This is Leela. And if we can understand Krishna Leela and understand Krishna's appearance, then for those who do, this is your last birth. You will go home, back to Godhead. Mameti. Krishna said, you'll come to me. Krishna doesn't expect you necessarily to be perfect in order to go back to Godhead. He can provide the finishing touches. You understand? What he wants is sincerity from the heart. What he wants, I heard one devotee give a talk one day about, a little fly trying to get out of a window. You've seen house flies sometimes, they're stuck in your house. And there's a window there. And they keep bumping up against the window and sitting on the window, and they can't get out. But if someone benevolent comes along, the fly wants to go out. Just open the window, the fly goes out. This is like Krishna. He knows what to do, when to do it. And he provides the finishing touches. So don't think it's a mechanical process. It's a personal process. You understand? It is not mechanical. It is completely personal. Krishna says, Suridam Sarva Bhutanam. I am the dearmost friend to every living being. He is. That's personal. So he is your best friend. He is your best friend. He is the best friend to the cat, to the dog, to the tree, and to me also. You have a personal relationship with Krishna. When you're chanting his holy name, actually the holy name is manifesting, and you have the opportunity to hear it. You see? When that holy name will manifest more and more and more, then desire for material enjoyment will go away. And desire for speculation will go away, because you'll be convinced of the completely spiritual, transcendental nature and non-different identity of the holy name from Krishna. Then you will be haunted by the last obstacle to devotional service. Bhukti Mukti Siddhi. Siddhi means mystical experience. Okay? Mystical experience. Bhakti Yoga is beyond mystical experience. It is all spiritual. This is what Srila Prabhupada has always been telling us. That Krishna consciousness is 100% spiritual. When it's mixed with karma, or it's mixed with jnana, or it's mixed with desire for siddhi, for some mystical experience, it's not bhakti. You are haunted by these obstacles, attractions, you see, rather than surrendering to Krishna. You see, so here in the Bhagavad Gita, when Krishna describes the Brahmabhuta stage, he says that having come to that state, then one should surrender to that supreme person from whom everything has come and who is the basis for everything. That is Bhakti Yoga. So in your heart of hearts, in the depths of your consciousness, you see, even when the material world is gone and you remain an individual spirit soul, conscious, part and parcel of Krishna, if that seed of envy remains, you're not liberated. Then you come back again into the material world during the next creation. So the higher plane beyond the Brahmabhuta stage, that is Ishyavasham stage. That is Bhakti Yoga. You see, why Krishna says, yes, you're not doing anything. The material energy, 13:21 Bhagavad Gita, is the cause and the effect of all activities within this world. But the Jiva soul causes happiness and distress. And then Krishna says, Yat Karoshi, Yat Ashnasi, Yat Jahoshi, all that you do, all that you say, all that you offer and give away, do as an offering unto me. There's like a contradiction here. First, you're only an observer, and then Krishna says, all that you do means that you have attained a state beyond matter. The state of devotional service is beyond material conception. It means seeing everything in relationship with Krishna. As described sometimes, that in making Krishna conscious sacrifice, the thing that is being sacrificed, the person making the sacrifice, and the object of the sacrifice, it all merges into transcendence. In other words, Krishna consciousness, Vasudeva Sarvamiti, Samahatma Sudurlabha. That Vasudeva stage, that is Krishna consciousness. It's not a state of simply individual packets of liberation that only fall back down, Aruya Krishna Padam Padam Patanti, only can fall back down to the material world, because the deep-rooted seed of envy of God exists independently of the material energy. So this is what Krishna is reforming us. This is why he performs his janma karma, his appearance and his activities. By hearing about them, by taking them in, then that knot within the heart, the hridaya granthi, the knot within the heart that keeps us bound to this sinful, faulty perception of self, can be cut. It is not cut by your intellect. Become convinced of this. You can't cut it with your intellect. Jnana Kanda. You can't do it. You can't cut it by anything else other than simply hearing about Krishna. Shravanam, Kirtanam, hearing the holy name. That holy name will manifest not as you chanting it, but as he is dancing upon your tongue. Because you're not of this world, but Krishna will manifest himself. Then you'll say, oh, this is what the holy name is about. You see? Now, the last obstacle is don't be attached to mysticism. You have to be attached to loving Krishna. This is what you want. Your prayer should be, my dear Lord Krishna, please help me to love you. Please manifest your love to me. By whatever agency, Srimati Radharani, the great Vaishnavas, the association of good devotees, help me to love Krishna. This is bhakti. If that desire is there, Krishna hears it. He hears everything. He's eternally witnessing us. So this experience of life in this world, it is a very peculiar experience because we are not of this world, but we're thinking, I'm of this world. That is Maya. But then coming in to the same reality with a different consciousness, that is spiritual life. Mayi sarvamidam protam. Everything is strung upon me, Krishna says. Mayi sarvam. Everything is strung upon me like pearls strung on a thread. You see, Krishna consciousness. See, when Prabhupada, when he was trying to, name the society in 1966 when it was founded, they were saying, well, why don't you call it self-realization or this or that, God consciousness? He said, no, it's Krishna consciousness. You see? And that is in our own self-interest even, because we're part and parcel of Krishna. Mayi sarvam idam protam. Everything strung upon Krishna like pearls on a thread. And after you meet Gurudev, and Gurudev has given you transcendental knowledge, when he smeared your eyes with transcendental knowledge, Oma Gyanati Mirandasya, no longer blind, then Mamai Vangso Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. When you know the truth, you will know that all living beings, they are mine and they are living within me. In other words, the Jiva soul has no existence separate from Krishna. That is the relationship that is existing eternally. Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. Sanatana means forever. You see? Krishna consciousness. So we have a few minutes. If anyone has any discussion or any questions. Akuranath Prabhu? Oh, they have microphone. This is Silicon Valley. And by the way, this is the new altar, yes? Very beautiful, because it is beautified even more by Krishna.
So thank you. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for a very wonderful and memorable class, Maharaj. And my question, I don't know if I can explain it right, but we, like you said, Bhukti, Mukti, Siddhi, Kami, we're taught that we don't go to God, we don't go to church or temple to pray for something material. God is not our order supplier, we're servants, we're here to do service to Krishna. And we see that Brijbasis also, Krishna is just a little boy in their village, they're taking care of him, they're always constantly engaged in his service. But when the rainstorm comes and the rain and the lightning and the wind and it's a very, very terrible situation, they immediately turn to Krishna for help. And my question is, when can we, we don't want to pray to Krishna for material advancement or any material thing, but at the same time, we do pray for and feel ourselves always under his protection and needing him when times get rough. So when is that appropriate?
All the time. Akamo sarvakamo va moksha kama udaradi. All the time, any desire you have, you go to Krishna. Akamo means I have no desire, you go to Krishna. Sarvakamo va, you're full of desires, you go to Krishna. Don't be a demon. Know that Krishna is controlling everything. You have some need, Krishna is your provider. Krishna is your sustainer. You see? And mokshakama, even you desire liberation, you go to Krishna. What to speak of, you want to love Krishna, you go to Krishna. You see? So in all situations, nityo nityanam chaitana chaitananam eko bahunam jo vidadati kama. Eko bahunam jo vidadati kama. Kama is desire. We are eternal and Krishna is eternal. We are conscious and Krishna is consciousness. And Eko, he is the one, bahunam, for the many, jo vidadati kama, who can satisfy our desires. You see? So this is something that works into devotional service at the highest level as well. Because the Jiva soul has desire. Even the Jiva soul has desire. Why is there the kalpataru, the wish-fulfilling trees? Because the Jiva souls have desire. Now the difference is, in the material, illusory environment, we have desire for things which are mixed with self-gratification or wisdom acquisition or even liberation. But in the spiritual world, only for pleasing Krishna. I mean, this is one of the reasons that it is very difficult to understand Raga Bhakti. Okay? Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he said that Raga Bhakti, that higher plane of devotional service, which everyone should aspire for, but Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, keep it a little bit distant. Pujala Ragapata. Keep it a little distant because it is so high. Because if you approach it prematurely, then you will do great harm to yourself. That will become sahajism. Sahajism means, prakrita sahajism means bringing things down to the material plane. You see? And there's a lot of sahajism in the world. There's a lot of sahajism in Vrindavan, mind you, where, people will dress up like, gopis, dress up like Krishna. I don't know if I can say this right, but I'll try, because it's a little humorous. So one man came to Srila Prabhupada's godbrother, Srila Sridhar Maharaj, and he was dressed up like, a female, thinking that now he is gopi or something like that. So, one of Srila Sridhar Maharaj's disciples, close associates, said, well, what do you think, Srila Sridhar Maharaj? He said, I don't know, first let me see his genitalia. In other words, this is not a mundane thing, you see? So I'm going to give you my take on this, okay? Because my take is not the only take. Because I have read a little bit Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, a little bit Bhaktivinoda Thakur. I'm not an expert in this area. But I have deep faith in Krishna. And I have deep faith in Srila Prabhupada. Hearing about the pastimes of Krishna and his devotees is sufficient. Just by hearing about them, by meditating upon them. You don't have to imagine, I desire, you remember we're talking about desire. I desire to be a gopi, or something like this, you see? That realization in the spiritual world, that is like a lightning flash. You don't need to meditate upon it for 20 years, you see? Because what you're doing then, for one thing, is you are creating a business relationship with Krishna that you may not want to have. Because although Krishna is your order supplier, he is the benefactor of everyone, the devotees, they have no desire for their own interest. They only desire for Krishna's pleasure. So it is not at all mundane. When the gopis are serving Krishna, they're not thinking of themselves. And any benefit that's coming to them in the form of ecstatic love, because of rasa, it is like a electrical, spiritual connection. It is going back to Krishna. They're not keeping it in their pocket for themselves. Everything that comes to them is going back to Krishna. We are created by Krishna to expand his pleasure. Krishna is not ignorant of our needs. Krishna gives us many times more pleasure than we can possibly give him. It is said in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, for example, that when the devotee will see Krishna, they experience 30,000 times more ecstasy than when Krishna sees the devotee. How is that possible? When Krishna is the reservoir of pleasure, he is giving more and taking all of it back and then giving it back again. This is the ecstasy of devotional service. This is what rasa is about. In a particular mood, with a particular flavor, it goes on forever. So when you try to make a bargain with Krishna, I want to be this, or I want to be that, and I don't want to demean that, but be patient. Let Krishna manifest his magic. He knows everything. And Srimati Radharani is not a normal personality. It is Hladni Shakti. It is the counterpart of Krishna, the devotional vortex of Krishna as a person. They know how to take care of everything. They'll do all of the magic. But your desire, by hearing about Krishna, you'll develop an appreciation for the love, for the dependency that the devotees have upon Krishna. You see? In the understanding to follow in the footsteps of the Mahajans doesn't mean that you become a Mahajan. There's no envy there. You follow their example. You worship their example. You see? It's not that you become them. You understand? Just by hearing about the great Leela of Krishna, and Leela means that involved with Krishna's devotees. By hearing about it, you are developing those qualities. It will become self-manifest where you belong in the spiritual realm. And you'll be perfectly situated for your own eternal identity of servitude with Krishna. You see? Yes, sir.
There was something very interesting that you said. You said, you don't keep on surrendering and surrendering.
Yes.
You surrender only once.
Yes.
And then Krishna takes care and he makes all the adjustments and he tests you. So
All the time.
All the time. So how do we know when we have reached that stage that we've actually surrendered? Because you said there is no constant endeavor to surrender.
When you feel that Krishna is in control of everything, that he may put you through so many examinations, but you have to be optimistic, not pessimistic. That optimism is there because Krishna is controlling all of this. This is his world. This is his play. He is pulling the strings. It is all according to his plan. When you feel that sense of dependency upon Krishna, then you've arrived at that position of experiencing surrender. But don't think that you have to do it over and over and over again. You know, people sometimes say, oh, I have to surrender to this, or I have to surrender to that. Just begin to see Krishna in everything. And Krishna will manifest more and more. Ye yatamam prapadyante tangs tataiva bhajami aham. As you approach Krishna, Krishna will reveal more and more to you. You see, he can overwhelm you in a second. He can do, why, for example, if you read the Quran, for example, when I wrote my book, God is Not Dead, and I studied the Quran, so I could say something that would be related to the Bhagavad Gita. And I studied the Bible, so I could. In the Quran, Allah, we say Allah is manifestation of Krishna. Allah says, why do you need anyone else to take care of you, to guide you? Am I not sufficient? You understand? This is a different approach than what we find in the Vedic system. And why? Because tadviri pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. Krishna says, you approach my bhakta, not just any bhakta. Pranipatena, pariprashnena seva, upadekshyanti jnanam, can give you knowledge, transcendental knowledge, jnaninas tattvadarshana, that devotee who knows the truth, to whom it has been revealed. We're talking about a, uttama adhikari. That kind of devotee we can get Krishna from, you see. So the process that Krishna has given is that by associating with Krishna's representatives, Krishna's devotees, then we in our contaminated, foul state of eternal conditioning, nityabhada, we can become potentially cured of that disease. You see? If Krishna came, he can do. But he is coming anyway. He is coming as the holy name. But can you hear the holy name? Can you associate his form with his sound vibration? Are you seeing Krishna, beautiful transcendental Krishna, face to face when you're saying Krishna? See, that is another state of consciousness that the devotee can open your heart to. You see? And so the system that Krishna has offered is, and sometimes Krishna will do that, is it not? We know some of the stories like Vamanadev, like Dhruva Maharaj, where Krishna will come personally and intervene himself, face to face. He can do that too. But generally speaking, he wants that we associate with his devotees. And sometimes it can be difficult. There's no question about it. But still, there are lessons to be learned that will bring us to the point of bhakti from all of that. Because finally, we have the potential to see, free from misgivings, that Krishna is in control of everything, and this is Krishna's creation. Then we become cured of that knot within the heart by hearing and chanting the glories of Krishna and Krishna Katha. I don't know if that helps answer the question. Yes?
Just to follow up, if you are still feeling misgivings and
Yes.
you're still blaming Krishna for your miseries, that means you actually have not surrendered, correct?
No, you surrendered, but you still have lessons to learn. You see, it depends. I mean, you surrendered or not surrendered, only you and your heart know. I can't look at another person because I have no capacity to experience what you're experiencing. You're an individual soul. But you yourself have a relationship with Krishna that is eternal and personal and confidential even. So you yourself know what steps you have taken towards Krishna. But once you have taken that step of surrendering, then Tesham Evanu Kampartam, by Krishna's special mercy, he will take care of it. Then it's in Krishna's hands. You see? My business is to be cognizant that Krishna is in control of everything and that I am being tested. But not to become pessimistic, not to despair. You see? Not to have misgivings, but rather to be optimistic that Krishna is there in everything. You see? He will reveal himself where and when and how he wishes.
Prabhuji, just following up on this question. So isn't still surrender a multi-step process? It's rather than a one-time transaction, right? The way it works, right?
If you say to Krishna, like the man who falls off a cliff, and he's falling and there's no one around, and he grabs hold of a branch on his way down, and he says, "Oh, my dear Lord, if you save me, I will always honor and respect and follow you." And then he hears a voice, "Let go of the branch, I will catch you." What's that? He said, let go of the branch, I will catch you. Is there anybody else out there? You see, if it's that kind of one-time deal, you see, really, it describes, like I think in the 11th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam especially, that you have to be kind of at the end of your desire to exploit matter. You have to be sufficiently frustrated, and you don't have to be perfect, but you have to have sufficient sukriti within your heart that you come to Krishna. Chatur vidhi bhajante mam. You have to have sufficient softening of the heart. Christ, he talks about, throwing out seeds, and the seeds of, the bhakti lata, devotion. Sometimes they land in good soil. They take root and they grow. Hallelujah. Sometimes they land on rock. They don't take root. Do you understand? So it's like that. Where is your heart? Where have you come? Many, many lifetimes. Bahunam janmanamante gyanavam mam prapadyante. It may take many, many, many lifetimes, but it will happen. Even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he's not praying for liberation. He said, Janmani Janmanishware, ahoy tuki bhavatad bhaktira, ahoy tuki tvai. That birth after birth, even. You see, this kind of mentality of Krishna is patient with us. I must be free from the obstacles, the witches of material enjoyment, the witches of desire for liberation, Janmani, Janmanishwar, and the witches of mystic desire. All of these sacrificed bhaktya ma'am abhijan for bhakti. So, depending on how you've approached your prayer of surrender, will be how you will have reciprocation from Krishna. But if you come with an open heart and give your supplication to Krishna, give yourself to Krishna like that, he won't reject you. Prabhupada, he told me when I first met him, second day I met him in Bombay in 1971, I just come back from Bangladesh. I was a brand new brahmachari. Gave up going to medical school at that time so that I could become a monk in Krishna consciousness because of some wonderful realizations. And I said to Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, you're the only person I trust in this world. Now here is a real guru. What did he say? Transparent via medium. He said, don't depend upon me. I may let you down. Depend upon Krishna. He will never let you down. I knew here is the real representative of Krishna. Because he knows who and what Krishna is, and he's not trying to make more of himself, but rather to be a doorway to Krishna, you see? I don't want to hold up the article. Any last questions, comments? Anyone? I've tried my best. I get one day a year here. I tried to give you everything I've been thinking about for the last year. Next year, if I'm alive, who knows what I'll say. But I thank you so much for the honor, really, of being with you. You're all very dedicated devotees of Krishna. I see everyone here as being my master. And very happy to be a part of this congregation. We live so far away, we don't come as much as we can. I think this Monday is Srila Prabhupada's disappearance day. So, as Srila Prabhupada did in his life, he also, in his departure, he taught us so many lessons. So, for you young people, he said one day, close to his passing, he said, don't think this won't happen to you. So don't be too illusioned by your life in this material world. Understand it is just a temporary stepping stone. Don't make more of it than what it is, and don't make less of it either. Understand the goal in life. You have to redefine what the goal of your life is. And I'm talking their spiritual life, because that's the only life there is. The body is dead matter. You have to define what success is. And if you define success as how you are coming into relationship with Krishna, with God, then you're making the right decisions. You see? So, Hare Krishna. Jai. I want to give these to anyone who wants them to give to a scientist. If any of you, I'll leave them right here as a gift. This is, God is not dead. It's my journey in spiritual life, but this is designed for scientists, especially, who want to analyze reality, as the Bhagavad Gita analyzes it, but from a personal perspective. And also talks of revelation here, because this will help maybe 3 people, and maybe if it's passed on more, become Krishna conscious, you see. Prabhupada always wanted us to try to reach the scientists. So if any of you know someone who you think will particularly be curious to be benefited, take them, distribute them around, and let me know.
I'll take one if you will allow me. Thank you.
Okay. Yes? I have 2 left. So give to him and this gentleman back there.
I'll share, don't worry. Those who like to also read, I'll share with them.
I'll give you more. You let me know. I'll deliver them like the postman.
Once again, we'd like to thank His Grace Pushta Krishna Prabhu for this wonderful lecture tonight. Thank you very much.
Jai Prabhupada.